Hi guys, welcome back to my channel English in a Blink, and today I am back for all you Shakespeare's fan. I'm sure you know what I mean. Well, today I'm going to do another of Shakespeare's play, and today I'm going to be talking about King Lear. So if you don't know about this one, not to be missed. So King Lear is actually a tragedy. I actually enjoy it, reading it. I actually enjoy reading all Shakespeare's plays. So yeah, Shakespeare is one of my favorite writers. So I'm a little biased. But after I finish this and after you hear the story, you can tell me, how did you like it? And do you like Shakespeare or not? You can also comment that in the comment box below. Okay, so here we go, talking about King Lear. So King Lear actually starts as the Earl of Gloucester, introduces his illegitimate son, Edmund, to the Earl of Kent. Now Lear, King of Britain, he's shown he's entering the court, and he's a really old man. And King Lear, he decides that he's going to divide his kingdom between his 3 daughters, okay? But the division is going to depend on the quality of each princess' declaration of love for a father, okay, before the court. So his 3 daughters were Goneril, Regan, and Cordelia. Yes, 3 of them. Now, Goneril and Regan, both of them, they spoke enthusiastically about, how they love their father, and they were praising him and all of that. But Cordelia, who was the youngest, she says nothing. Yeah, so she says nothing because, she cannot voice her deep love for Lear. So she was like, I don't know how to say that. I just love him so much. But what happens is now Cordelia, when she doesn't say anything, father, he misunderstands her, and he actually disowns and banishes her from the kingdom. And he also banishes Earl of Kent, because he was taking Cordelia's side, okay, against the king. So both of them are banished, and King Lear actually divides the kingdom between the 2 daughters, and kingdom actually, gets divided, like literally also and figuratively as well, okay? So the kingdom is actually divided. So as the story progresses, now we understand, like on the other side, Edmund, he's determined to be recognized as the rightful son of Gloucester. So what he tries is, he tries to trick his father, and he convinces him that his legitimate brother, Edgar, is actually plotting against Gloucester's life. So now when he says that, now, Edgar understands that, okay, now my life is in danger, so he flees and takes the disguise of a beggar, okay? So what happens is, now Edmund, he becomes the courtier to Goneril, okay? So the daughter who's looking after the kingdom. So now Edmund, he starts assisting her. And Goneril, meanwhile, she grows, increasingly, she just doesn't like, King Lear, who is actually always trying to tell them what to do, what not to do. So she doesn't like any of that, okay? And she starts criticizing her father. Now, remember Kent, who was also sent to exile with the daughter. Now, he returns from exile, but he is in disguise, okay? And then he wins a place as a servant to King Lear. Now, Kent, he accompanies Lear when, the daughter, she's actually criticizing him. He gets really mad, and he curses Goneril, and then he leaves, okay? So now King Lear, he goes unannounced to live with Regan, the other daughter, because, Goneril, she doesn't like when the father is criticizing. So she's like, I don't approve of this. I don't need your opinion on that. So that actually agitated him. So he says, okay, I don't want to live with this one. I'm going to live with my other daughter, which is Regan. Now, Regan also, when he just goes unannounced to visit her, she doesn't like that either. Okay, so, and when he sees that, okay, I'm not wanted, even the other daughter, Regan, she doesn't want me. So that leaves King Lear really upset, and he leaves the house of Regan as well. Okay, so he leaves. Now he's actually very deeply hurt, and he's also regretting that he's actually rejected Cordelia. So Lear, and all of that, he actually goes mad, and he leaves in the great storm. So there's a storm, and he leaves the castle, and he's just running wild, in the jungle. So that's when Gloucester, he takes him into shelter. So he's like, okay, I will probably look after him, because he's like, okay, now he cannot see that, rightly so. And then he seeks the aid of Kent to get them away to the coast. So Kent, remember Kent, he's actually his loyal servant. So both of them, they go away to the coast, where Cordelia, she's actually landed with the French army, because she now knows what is going on, the two sisters, what they are trying to do. So she understands. So Cordelia, the good daughter who is banished, she comes back so that she could save. Okay, so she comes back with her husband. Now she's married to a French guy. So she comes back to the French army to fight for her daughter against the sisters and their husbands, of course. Okay, so Gloucester, he then leaves all of them together, and he returns home. Now, meanwhile, on the other side, Edmund, he is actually employed as a messenger between the sisters, okay? And he's actually assisting both the sisters, Goneril and Regan, both of them. So what he does is he persuades Cornwall that Gloucester, his own father, is an enemy, because he has been in touch with the French army, okay? And he's actually helped Lear. So that's when Regan, she's actually against his father, like Gloucester as well. And when they think that, okay, Gloucester is betraying them, so as a punishment, Cornwall and Regan, they tell them to pluck out his eyes and abandon him. Yeah, so during this act of blinding Gloucester, a servant, stabs Cornwall. Now, Cornwall is the husband, okay, Regan's husband. So he is stabbed in all of that, and he dies, okay. But Regan, she continues to rule with Edmund's help, okay. So you understand what's going on? Now, what happens is, like, again, we're going to the other side. Now we're looking at King Lear. So on the other side, like I said, out in the Somme, Lear actually finds shelter where Edgar has also taken refuge. Now, remember Edgar, the good son of Gloucester? Yeah, so now that's where both of them are. And Edgar is actually still disguised as a beggar, okay? So now, yeah, that's what happens. And now Edgar, he finds out that Gloucester, who was actually blinded, and he was left, he's actually wandering, okay, and he's in agony. So since his father is blind, Edgar sees him, and he leads the despairing man to the coast and helps him along the journey, so that he can come up with the acceptance of his life. So he gets to know that my father is now blinded, so he goes and helps him. And Gloucester, he later meets the mad Lear they're all at the same camp. So all of them so he's at the camp at Cordelia's camp, where King Lear is, and that's where Gloucester meets King Lear as well. And with Kent's aid, Lear is rescued and reunited with Cordelia, okay? And Gloucester is now reunited with Edgar. So all of them are reunited. Gloucester, who is now blind, is reunited with Edgar, the good son, who was actually disguised as a beggar, and Cordelia is reunited with the father as well, okay? Now, when all of that happens, when Gloucester, he is reunited with Edgar, he actually dies quiet and peacefully alone. Now, moving on, the French forces, now Cordelia actually wanted to take revenge from both her sisters. So the French forces, they are overcome by Albany's army, which is led by Edmund. But now when they are fighting, Edmund actually overtakes, the French forces, and Lear and Cordelia, they are actually captured, okay? And Goneril, she has already poisoned Regan because she was actually jealous. There was like a rivalry going on between the two sisters over Edmund, okay? So both of them actually liked Edmund and they wanted his attention, and in that rivalry, Goneril actually poisoned Regan. So now Edgar, the good son, he is now disguised as a loyal knight. So he challenges Edmund to a duel. Okay, and he says, okay, now because he's already angry, remember, because Edmund has, because of Edmund, he was banished. So now he challenges him for, to a duel, and where he actually is, Edmund is actually wounded. Really, really bad. He's really wounded. And then seeing no way out, Goneril, now when Goneril realizes that, okay, now Edmund is like literally he's going to die. So she sees that there's no way out. So she kills herself as well. And meanwhile, when Edmund, he's dying, he actually realizes that he did not do the right thing. So he confesses that all his misdeeds, and he says, okay, release Cordelia. However, it was too late to save Cordelia from the hangman. So she was already hanged. So she wasn't saved. And listening to this, King Lear is actually heartbroken. Of course, and he just looks at the body of his beloved youngest daughter and he dies, just taking that body in his arms. And we are just left with Albany and Edgar, who are just left to reorganize the kingdom and resolve the civil war which is going on. Yeah, so not a happy ending again. Okay, everybody's pretty much dead. So that is the story of King Lear. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, again, like I always say, you don't have to do much. Press your like button, subscribe, spread the word. Until we meet next time, bye for now.